And if I say it, you'll know that I'm telling you the truth. The rule is that no matter what you do in your artistic expression, you are never, ever allowed to upset the alphabet people. What I didn't realize at the time, and what Kevin had to learn the hard way, is we were breaking an unwritten and unspoken rule of show business. It's like that white black bitch that's in the news all the time. Rachel Dolezal. She always says that. She's a white woman, but then she dressed up like a nigga. And
Dave Chappelle has long been a fixture in comedy, renowned for his sharp wit and unfiltered perspective on society's most controversial topics. He's taken on issues many comedians avoid, from race and politics to celebrity culture, and most recently, woke culture.
You know who I mean? Those people that took 20% of the alphabet for themselves. I'd say the letters, but I don't want to conjure their anger. It's too late now. I'm talking about them L's and them B's and them G's and the T's.
One of the first issues Chappelle tackled was what he saw as hypocrisy within woke culture. He argues that in an era of activism, people can sometimes be more interested in signaling their values than actually standing by them. Chappelle has been vocal about his frustration with those who preach tolerance, yet refuse to accept any opinion that differs from their own.
Gender is a fact. This is a fact. Every human being in this room, every human being on Earth, had to pass through the legs of a woman to be on Earth. That is a fact.
Chappelle's next focus is on cancel culture, which he portrays as a direct threat to free speech and artistic expression. In The Dreamer, he shares how he's faced countless attempts to cancel him, from online campaigns to protests by employees within Netflix itself. He challenges the idea that comedians, of all people, should be held to standards that don't allow for artistic risk-taking. His main point here is simple. Cancel culture stifles creativity by creating an environment where people are afraid to speak honestly. Chappelle argues that humor has always been about pushing boundaries and exploring taboos, and that canceling artists for doing so ultimately harms society's ability to grow through open discourse.
The fuck is that bitch talking about? I identify black. That is trans talk, lady. Stop biting. Stop biting.
Chappelle passionately believes that comedy serves a higher purpose. It's a tool for addressing complex social issues. Throughout his career, he's shown that humor can break down barriers and challenge beliefs in ways that are both accessible and provocative. The Dreamer includes several moments where Chappelle brings up sensitive issues, from race relations to gender dynamics, often with jokes that cut to the core. By making us laugh at serious topics, Chappelle helps his audience process difficult realities. This is part of his challenge to woke culture. If society can't laugh about its flaws, how can it ever hope to fix them?
Caitlyn Jenner was voted Woman of the Year. Her first year as a woman. Ain't that something? Beat every bitch in Detroit. She's better than all of you. Never even had a period. Ain't that something?
Perhaps one of the most polarizing aspects of Chappelle's recent work has been his commentary on transgender issues. In The Dreamer, he draws parallels between his experience meeting Jim Carrey in character Andy Kaufman and society's debates about identity. Chappelle uses this example to bring humor into an often tense conversation, underscoring his belief that comedy can help people discuss topics that are otherwise hard to approach. However, he also makes it clear that while he believes in everyone's right to identify as they choose, he doesn't feel that society should silence anyone who holds a different perspective. Chappelle's refusal to apologize for his jokes about transgender identity emphasizes his belief that discussion, not cancellation, is the way forward.
True joke. I mean, it's not true, but I had read in the paper that Caitlyn Jenner was contemplating posing nude in an upcoming issue of Sports Illustrated. And I know it's not politically correct to say these things, so I just figured, fuck it, I'll say it for everybody else. Yuck.
Chappelle addresses the pressure he's faced from public backlash and how he feels that comedians, in particular, are under siege. In The Dreamer, he talks about incidents where audience members reacted violently to his material, including the time he was tackled on stage. For Chappelle, this symbolizes the lengths to which some people are willing to go to silence opinions they find offensive. He challenges this mentality, insisting that comedians should not be punished for their art, but instead encouraged to explore difficult topics. Chappelle suggests that society's intolerance for humor that doesn't align with acceptable views ultimately undermines freedom of expression.
Well, I'd be mad as shit if I was a woman. I'd be mad if I was me. If I was in a BET Awards sitting there and they're like, and the winner for Nigger of the Year, Eminem, my man.
A crucial aspect of Chappelle's argument is his belief in a comedian's right to offend. He contends that comedy is inherently offensive at times because it involves pointing out uncomfortable truths. In The Dreamer, he unapologetically discusses topics that many consider off-limits. For Chappelle, the right to offend is fundamental to the creative process and is essential for tackling deep-seated issues in society. This defiance has made him a divisive figure, but it also positions him as a champion for artists who feel constrained by societal expectations.
Please don't watch that show. I'm not asking you to boycott any network. Boycott me. Boycott Chappelle's show. Do not watch it unless they pay me.
Chappelle frequently references comedy icons like Richard Pryor, George Carlin, and Lenny Bruce, figures who used humor to confront the establishment. He argues that these comedians paved the way for a form of entertainment that serves as social commentary. By doing so, they changed the public conversation on issues like racism, sexism, and classism. In The Dreamer, Chappelle aligns himself with this legacy, arguing that comedians have a unique responsibility to challenge social norms, even if it means facing backlash. He implies that woke culture, in its quest to silence problematic voices, is erasing the contributions of these comedy pioneers.
If you're a shareholder in that company, tell them it's wrong. And if you don't believe that it's wrong, then fuck you too. You should know what's in the hot dogs you eat. Now, there's probably a bunch of people at Comedy Central and Viacom and all these places that have no idea what I'm talking about. They've all either quit or been fired or got Me Too or something. Them niggas is gone.
Through his jokes, Chappelle encourages society to engage in self-reflection. His comedy often highlights contradictions within modern social movements, forcing audiences to examine whether they're genuinely committed to change or merely following trends. Chappelle's humor serves as a mirror, reflecting society's inconsistencies and prompting audiences to question whether their actions align with their beliefs. His critique here is that woke culture can sometimes be more about appearances than substance, a performative effort rather than a genuine commitment to progress.
I've been really just relaxing and just trying to stay out of trouble.
Right.
That's right, because I see, being a celebrity, your realm of getting in trouble is worse than the average person.
Mm-hmm.
Chappelle also points out the double standards in how society holds public figures accountable. He argues that celebrities are often judged more harshly for minor mistakes than they are for serious issues. In The Dreamer, he questions why some celebrities are canceled for insensitive comments while others escape scrutiny for far worse behavior. By addressing this double standard, Chappelle calls for a more balanced approach to accountability. He insists that if we want a just society, we should judge actions fairly rather than selectively punishing individuals based on public opinion.
She's not mad at me, but don't think you're gonna walk away from $50 million and your wife's just gonna be cool with it.
At the heart of Chappelle's argument is a defense of artistic freedom. He sees comedy as a space where artists should be free to explore controversial topics without fearing repercussions. In The Dreamer, Chappelle confronts social expectations head-on, refusing to conform to what is considered appropriate. He argues that while society has the right to hold opinions about his work, it doesn't have the right to silence him. This insistence on artistic freedom is a key reason why Chappelle refuses to apologize for his content, viewing it as essential to his role as a comedian.
There's a big difference between her and a trans. The difference between her and a trans is I believe transgenders. I don't understand them either, but I know they mean what they say. Them niggas cut their dicks off.
One of the reasons Chappelle's specials continue to break records is that there's a clear demand for his unfiltered perspective. In an era where people often feel pressured to self-censor, Chappelle's willingness to say what others won't is refreshing for many viewers. He taps into a sense of disillusionment with the way society handles free expression, appealing to audiences who crave honest, sometimes uncomfortable conversation. Chappelle's popularity underscores the fact that many people are tired of sanitized narratives and want comedians to speak openly, even if it's provocative.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Chappelle.
What do you think about Chappelle's impact on comedy and culture? Do you agree with his approach, or do you feel he's gone too far? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments below. Ensure to subscribe to join more honest discussions.